I used to. Some days it takes me a minute or two, but the world keeps turning like it's meant to do, and time don't wait, it just carries you through.
Carry you through,
I've had good
yeah,
days,
today.
you slip away,
Slip away.
a few things work out a different way.
Yeah.
Long enough, and yours
Woo.
is true.
Yeah.
The things worth keeping.
Ooh, happy Saturday early morning to you guys. It is so exciting to see you guys each and every Saturday morning for Senior Talks. I'm your host, LaDonna Raeh. I am covering for Miss Clara Hubbard. As you heard the promo or the intro, it said the granddaughter of WVON, to all of you. But I am now honored to bring on this show and carry it through so you guys can tap in and get some resources and hear what people are doing out there in the senior community. You know, I call myself a pre-senior, and I'm very proud of it. You can't take that away from me. Absolutely a good morning. You woke up this morning. I do morning prayer every Tuesday, and I always start my prayers with, thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. My feet hit the floor. So you guys can tune in with us each and every Saturday for Senior Talks. Later on, I'm going to talk to Terrence De La Rosa from Chicago Commons, but I have a very special guest with us today. They are all special, but look, this is a dear friend of mine. We are looking at someone who has just entered the senior years. I know he's in disbelief, but I know for a fact when his birth date was, okay. But Bowlegged Lou, he is, as you know, he is a proof of what it looks like to be a legend in the music industry, in producing, and so many other things. Biggest hits in R&B, hip hop, discovering those that were undiscoverable. Please join me in welcoming Mr., or should I say, the one and only legendary Bowlegged Lou. Good morning.
Morning. What's up, LaDonna? Thank you so much for that introduction.
Of course. Look, I know the history. You and I have been friends for a very long time. But one thing I do want to say to you is that I love giving you your flowers every chance I get, because you have paved the way for so many successful acts, so many opportunities in the music industry, and you are still getting it in. You're not sitting still, Bowlegged Lou.
Yeah, just having a good time, you know. I don't call myself a senior because I'm a junior. My father was a senior. His birth name, Lou George Sr. I'm Lou George Jr. So so I'm just enjoying life, you know what I mean? Last night I just hosted a sold out concert for my dear friend Mr. El DeBarge, and it was incredible, and wow, it was dope.
Yeah. Well, I know I get it, because I'm still in denial on what my age really is too, Lou. So we have that in common. But no, seriously, I love the fact that you hosted the event with El DeBarge. You sent me that information. I wish I could be there. That was in New York, and that is originally where you're from. You're from you were on your own stomping grounds. Tell us about how, I know it's you, your two brothers, and then you have three cousins that were part of Full Force. And you guys grew up together, like literally. Tell us about that. What has that journey been like? Because everybody is aging at the same time.
No. You're aging. I'm not aging. So the deal is this.
I'll take it.
I was born in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. My father's from St. Thomas. My mother's from the Dominican Republic. So I came from there like 3 years old, and we lived in Brooklyn. First was Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, then Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Then we settled down in East Flatbush, where Full Force was born. It was basically started with my two brothers, Paul Anthony and B Fine, my blood brothers, the same guys you saw in House Party, and my father teaching us how to sing. And first it started with Paul and then me, and then my brother B was forced into it. But my father was teaching us how to sing and harmonize and everything like that. Him and my uncle Cito, they took us to the Apollo Theater where we won 4 times in a row, first prize. Then we appeared on the professional show with Joe Tex and the Whispers. Then later on, we moved to Flatbush in Brooklyn and got with our cousins, Baby Jerry, Shy, and Kurt. We became Full Force as performers. And the only reason we started producing other acts, which was an idea from our co-manager, Steve Salem, may he rest in peace. He's the one that said, hey, guys, we're having a hard time getting Full Force a deal for themselves. Why don't you guys write and produce for other people? Then I bet you if you do that, then Full Force will get a deal of its own. I was the only one in the group that was against it because I just wanted it just to be Full Force. That's it. But I was outvoted. But that was okay. I went and we all started producing and writing. The first people we started working with Curtis Blow. We co-wrote Basketball, the song Basketball with Curtis Blow. And we did 5 other songs with him. And then we worked in the studio with Bob Dylan. And before you know it, then Full Force, the first group we ever produced and put together was UTFO, Roxanne, and we did like 4 of their albums. And then Lisa and Coat Jam. We, my brother B Fine, the songs was already written. I Wonder If I Take You Home, Can You Feel the Beat? Those songs was written, but my brother B Fine wanted a Spanish girl to sing it, to be the front person. Because it was never done before, it was never done before. And then Mike Hughes of Cult Jam, he went and found Lisa. He brought Lisa to the audition. And my brother Paul asked Lisa to sing a song that we might know because she was singing a lot of unknown songs that Mike Hughes wrote. And then she sung the song For Your Eyes Only, and the rest was history. And then they became Lisa and Cult Jam.
Was she the one that was working at the clothing store and didn't want to quit her job yet? And then you're like, you can't work here anymore. You're big time.
Yep, exactly. At Benetton's. Yep.
I love it. One thing that I can say is my first interview with you was by, oh my God, it had to be an act of God. Because I had just told a dear friend of mine, Tiffany, I said, you know what? I want to interview Full Force. And in my inbox on Facebook, it popped up literally the same week. So I'm not making this up. She can vouch for me. I said, guess who reached out to me? Full Force. It was such a dream come true because I knew from whence you came. And you've spent your life creating music that still moves people to this day. When going from Unsung and watching that, people go, oh, I didn't know. And this is something that people don't really realize until it comes out. But with that in mind, some people step away from their dreams, their passions as they get older. I know you're not getting older. I get it. But just in case you were, you seem to be so energized. I've never seen you take a moment of rest. What keeps you motivated in continuing to write and perform? Because you're still performing, you're still getting it in, Lou.
Yeah. I mean, it's just living life and having a good time and still working behind the scenes, on the personal tip, like with my beloved mother, who I'm primary caregiver of. But other than that, I still like to enjoy life. I'm a single man still, and I have, lady friends that we go out and have dinner and go to Broadway shows because I was a theater major. And I just like having fun. I'm still a big kid, and the music is still a passion because besides Lisa, we went on to discover Cheryl Pepsi Riley. Right. Then we did stuff with James Brown, Patti LaBelle, the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, the late, great Selena. I just wanted to go backwards in there. If a lot of you saw, there was a TV movie called the Can You Feel the Beat, the Lisa story. In that movie, Full Force weren't mentioned, which was crazy, but it was their movie. When I say they, I'm talking about Lisa and her co-manager and her background singer and a solo artist. Her name is Toni Minaj, and she pretty much kind of leads the show with Lisa, and she injected herself into the careers and story of Lisa and Coach Jam.
Minaj and Nikki.
She
I mean,
called her
was there?
she called herself Tony Minaj. Her real name is Tony Marshburn,
Yeah,
Tony Marsh, but she calls herself Tony
there's no
Minaj.
relationship between the two, between her and
No, no, no. And
okay,
she
because I was gonna
manages
say
Lisa.
I know, because I know you guys discovered Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj, and I was wondering if that was some type of namesake there. But just knowing, how our listening audience, I don't hear them too much talk, about maybe like the current should I say the pop culture. However, the pop culture is carrying the torch of from where it has been and where it's going. So when you talk to a general population of people that know your music and they listen to what's out there, what is it about what Full Force has done, what you have done in the music industry that you don't want to see anyone drop the ball on because you work so hard?
Well, I like to call it artist development
Mhm.
because in this day and age, like back in the day, and I love our era anyway. I always think the 80s and the 90s was like at the top of the game in the music. But even if you go back to the 70s with the old Motown machine, the way they had artist development, where they would actually work with the artists. It wasn't about them just coming out, getting a hit record, making a lot of money, then they go on and do shows. But it's when they spend time with the artists and hone their skills. And that's what we did with our acts. We would oversee our acts and see what they did, and just to make sure they give the audience a great show. Like I gotta tell you, last night, El DeBarge, my God, is the name of the place is called the Inkwell in Manhattan. And he must have been on stage for damn near 2 hours. And he
Really?
had he had his band there. And that's a first for that nightclub, the Inkwell, to be like that. And it was sold out. And I was a proud host, and we gave him a special plaque at the end of the show. But to see people like him and Full Force, we're still performing and
Yeah.
still getting it in, like you said, and just having a great time, So
Well, I want to
so
circle back.
hopefully, like you said, hopefully they'll do more artist development and get these artists into shape. One person that does a lot of artist development that I admire, he goes by the name of Marvin McIntyre, and he works with New Edition and Escape and Brownstone, and he still holds true the whole thing about artist development. They don't do that these days.
Yeah, that's what's missing. Well, I don't think that it's missing if you still do it within your camp. You kind of breezed over you're still a single man and you're still dating. I know that we like my father, he's single, right? and dating, what does dating look like now versus when you were just a lad? What does it look like?
Well, I'm still a lad, okay? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
LaDonna's like, all right, Jesus. But no, my thing is that I'm still just having a great time. I think even when I was a lad, my thing is that I got married real young,
Mhm.
right out of high school. And me and my ex-wife was married for like 20 years. We have 2 beautiful children, and we're still friends to this day. Our divorce was so amicable, it was ridiculous. And my children never know mommy and daddy to ever hate each other because we're still together as far as a family. We got our own group chat with me and my ex-wife and my kids. And it's great. After that, I said, okay, I'm single now. And here's a crazy thing. When I really knew I was single and divorced from my wife?
When?
When I was on the toilet one day.
Oh boy.
No, listen, this is the truth, it's true life. And I was doing the number 2. And
Oh
then when
boy.
I was finished, I went to reach for the toilet paper.
And there was none.
That's when I knew that's when I knew I was no longer married. That's what I knew. That's what I knew. And I remember calling my ex-wife. I'm like, damn, you don't have the toilet paper? Well, I'm not there anymore. I'll never forget it. So now, fast forward, I'm single and I'm having a good time. I meet this young lady named Tiffany Teixeira. I didn't think I was going to get into another relationship, but we was in a relationship for 6 years. And what broke us up is that my brother, Paul Anthony, he was dealing with cancer at the time. And he just wanted to move from Brooklyn because me and him owned a house together. He lived downstairs, I live upstairs. And he's like, yeah, I just want to I just want to move. And or we don't want mom to live by herself anymore. Because my mother at the time, after her and my father divorced, she was living by herself in Brooklyn. And Paul said, we don't want mom to live by herself anymore. So we figured she would live with you. The three of us just get houses and build them up from the beginning. And that's how it was. I didn't make that decision. My brother Paul did. He just wanted to move. I didn't want to leave Brooklyn, New York, but we moved. And that's what one of the reasons that broke up me and my ex-girlfriend, because she felt I chose my family because I can't leave my mother out there like that. So right now, being single is fantastic. I don't have any commitments right now. And I got a lot of female friends that are friends, and I treat them with respect. And we take them, I go everywhere, go to different shows, make some of their dream comes true. They want to meet New Edition, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just having a good time. In fact, tonight I'm going to see a Broadway show with Don Cheadle called Proof. And I'm
Nice.
taking a lady friend to see that.
It's really disappointing for you to share that someone out there felt like it was a bad thing that you chose family. After being with you for 6 years, I know after knowing you way longer than that you are nothing but a family man. And if someone's with you for 6 years, they would know that your family comes, I want to say effing first. And I've seen that throughout my time with you and your brothers. Your brother is a cancer champion, by the way,
Yes.
which is awesome. And you mentioned your kids. I know Lou Star is also an artist. And we've been in communication over the years as well. But it's unfortunate that, it comes to dating, there are some people that have divorced. There's some people that have become widows, and then they go
Mm.
back into the dating I want to say the dating industry, and it's different out there. People are not. I mean, it's almost like it's dating in a different dimension. But what you're sharing with us is that you have your lady friends that don't mind dating in the sense of going out and having a good time. And do they even expect anything more? Do you say it up? Do they understand? Have you made it clear that we're just dating? We're just kicking it.
Listen, I'm gonna go back to what you said about my ex-girlfriend that was together for 6 years. I have to say that it was definitely my fault because I never told her that we were going to move. I never discussed it with her. I just
Wow.
made a decision, and that was my fault. I should have talked with her. And she once said to me, Lou, I have nothing against your mother, but you and your brothers haven't had experiences of being married. So I just want to marry you. But I have nothing against your mother. And I couldn't fault her for that. You know what I mean? We're still friends to this day, but I put that blame on myself for not even talking or discussing it with her. Now,
Mhm.
going back into what you asked me about, what I do is with all my lady friends, and they can attest to this, I never front. I don't lie. I put everything on the table and I
Mhm.
let them know, hey, I'm a single man. And they all know I'm single. So no expectations. Maybe, sometimes with some of them, things could be getting close. I have two young ladies that would love a relationship for sure. And we'll just see what happens in life. But I put everything on the table and they know, yeah, he's single because I say it enough. I'm a single. I don't lie or do anything. I don't deceive anybody.
Yeah, so you're not buying them cranberry juice and then telling them they belong to you for the rest of
No.
their the
Oh,
night.
no, 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 never. I got
You
to
know
keep it real.
that misconception. You mentioned caring for your mother. I know that you've been a caregiver quite a few times, and that I've watched you be the caregiver or one of the caregivers to your father because your family is so close. Everyone pitches in, but going through that with you virtually and in person, it's something to be said about a person that can jump in and be a caregiver, but it's something else when it's a man because we don't hear much about male caregivers. How has caregiving while you said you are single, you're still performing, you are a family man, and yet you are also caregiving for your mother. How has that all been for you?
Well, like I had say in the beginning, it was really hard, and because it was just me by myself, basically, and I literally was seeing my mother, um, you know, as the years go on and the months go on, I would see her downgrade. You know what I mean? And I said, okay, mom must be sick. My brothers didn't know how sick she was, so that's why I was doing everything by myself, basically, with my mom and taking care of her and cleaning her up and everything, helping her when she was able to walk. She can't walk now, but I was basically doing it myself. But then when my brothers started pitching in, it was better. They would come in and help me with mom to shower her and to walk her. To this day, my brother Beefine helps with the walking. My brother Paul would come over with me and we would clean mom, give her food and clean her up. And I'll never forget the first day when I was in the bathroom with my mom, and the first time I gave her a shower, and she
Mm-hmm.
took off her clothes, and she started crying because she's a very independent woman. She says, "You're my son. You're not
Right.
supposed to see me naked like this. You're not supposed to." I says, "Mom, when we were young, you took care of us, bathed us. So now it's our turn to do it for you." And that's what it's all about. And I have to give a shout out. I have some caregiving help. So when I'm away, I have people like Lavinia Bright, my beloved cousin Taisha, Vivian, my daughter Lakaya, Sheila Hall. So those are people that's doing it right now with my mom and help me out whenever I have to go away. Other than that, it's just me and my brothers is stone throw away, and everybody pitches in, even people that's on the phone, friends. And my mother, I always tell my mother, Mom, as long as you're laughing at times and you have your good appetite, it's great. But I oversee all her doctor appointments and
Mhm.
everything, and everybody pitches in. So it's
Her,
a
her
great.
chart, her chart is your chart.
Exact. It's for
Right.
real. And sometimes
Yeah.
I forget about myself. Like I
Right.
always like I always say, I once received the Caregiver of the Year award by Carletta Cole in the
Congratulations, by the way.
Safe Place in L.A. And when I received it, maybe I got carried away. I started making other awards to present to other people because I appreciate them for being in my mom's life. I must have made at least 20 different awards just to share it with others because I could never do it by myself.
Wow. We got a couple of callers, and guys, I'm sorry, I didn't even give out the number. I always assume that everybody knows it. The number is 773-591-1690. We have just a few more minutes left. And Lou, this has been amazing. You're sharing resources. You're sharing so much with us. I know last week I spoke with Tiffany Green and Hood, and actually she's on the chat now. And I remember her telling me that she made her father an author. She made him an author. He has a book, and she's his caregiver. So I
Nice.
just, it's so beautiful that you have this opportunity to give her the care that she needs from a
Yes.
family standpoint and from a son standpoint. I'm going to go ahead and grab a caller, but before I do, I also want to point out, how's your RP, that retinitis pigmentosa?
Yeah, I'm managing it. It's a retinitis pigmentosa of the eyes. They say it leads to blindness, but I don't own up to that. I just stay with my treatments. But it gets a little difficult because I only got central vision. I don't have any peripheral. But whenever I'm out with any friends, they hold my hand, and I'm there seeing. They might become my seeing eye human. My daughter, who I love, and my daughter and my son, they both defend me to the hilt.
They will,
There's
won't
some
they?
great. Oh, are you kidding? They're great children. They make me see things that I don't see. And
Right. I love
man,
it. Let me
yeah,
go ahead and grab Mama D. Mama D, you're live on WVON.
Well, y'all God rising, and if he be lifted up, he'll draw all souls unto him. Um, I wanted to say, as a heart and mind damage survivor, age 75 to 84, I want all the seniors to know, blessed are you that your days are long on the land that God, not government, has given you. We're in the 10 Commandments. Honor your mother and your father that your days be long. So That longer life is a blessing. And you don't hide a blessing in the background, just like you don't hide a candle under a bush.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted everybody also to know that tomorrow, May 17th, is the anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education decision. It is one of the 10 most significant events in indigenous Negro American African history. We should claim the country, but never forget the continent before enslavement.
Yes,
Now, you
absolutely.
mentioned Bob Dylan. And my question is, Mrs. Till told me that Blowing in the Wind was a song that was inspired by Bob Dylan. Would you expound on that?
Well, Blowing in the Wind is an original Bob Dylan song. And then other artists covered it. In other words, they did it over. Like one of my favorite renditions is when little Stevie Wonder, when he did it all over again, Blowing in the Wind. But Blowing in the Wind is an original Bob Dylan song. And when we, Full Force, got to work with Mr. Dylan in the studio, we were just blown away, and we were just starting out, but he was a great artist, Yeah, but that's his song.
Nice, nice. All right, Ron, you're on WVON. Real quick, you have a question for our guest, Bowlegged Lou?
Yeah. Good morning. Love the show. Bowlegged Lou, first of all, I want to commend you for a wonderful career, the passion you get. But the most thing I want to commend you for is being a caretaker for your mother. That's the most important thing that you have mentioned this morning. And like you said, LaDonna, we don't hear about a lot of men who do it.
Mm-hmm.
So on this day, I want to commend you. We just had Mother's Day, but then sometimes we celebrate a day, but it's 365 days. But then I have to share a little something funny with you when you mentioned the toilet tissue. That's what my wife has to buy. So I go get the grocery, the food, right? To get the torches, we have a little thing in the bathroom, little cabinet. So I reach under there and I'm like, it better be here. It's like, hey, baby, where is it? I got the freezer stocked. You can make it. Hey, maybe we don't have a little soap or isn't there? But better have that toilet tissue like that. Just had to share that with you,
Thank
man.
you,
Y'all
Ron.
have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Ron.
God bless you, sir.
All
That's
right.
funny.
As we come to a close, I just want to thank you, Bowlegged Lou, super thank you for being an inspiration up to now and beyond. And for all of our listeners that were able to peer into your story, there's never enough time to hear it all. There's never enough time to hear everything that you have been doing up to this point and beyond. You still have irons in the fire. And I love that you shared with us how you're keeping it. What did I say? Still getting it in, right?
Still getting it in.
Not the dating sense, because you went into that. We'll talk about that on another show. but it's good to see you smile, Lou. You have always had that smile. You've always had that character, that charisma. And, because this is radio, we can't cuss. And I know you're going to close it out. But your story is quite the reminder of getting older is just that. It's nothing short of just being blessed even more wisdom, more purpose, more gifts to give. So thank you, Bowlegged Lou. I love you as my brother, my friend. Thank you for being there for me. What's the name of your new organization as we prepare to close?
Mission Vision. And I want to thank you, LaDonna, because when I had my old organization called Hope with a Vision, you did our original logo. So I'm getting a new organization called Mission Vision with my new president, Terry Reyes, my vice president, Ninel Langford, my secretary, my daughter, Lakaya George, and treasurer, Charlene Curry. And we're going to be doing some great things, as we start doing our thing.
Awesome. I'm glad. We'll be, as you give me the updates, I will share them with our audience so that they can get involved. And I didn't know Miss Nicki Minaj donated to Hope with a Vision. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
she
Yeah.
sure did. I'll never forget that, and I appreciate Nikki from that day. She donated to Hope with a Vision when we had Hope with a Vision.
Right. Well, we still have hope with a new vision. It's missing vision.
That's
See
right.
how I did that? All right, Lou. Love you much. Talk to you soon. And thank you so much for coming on this very show to share your story.
LaDonna, God bless you. And I want to tell everybody out there to always stay positive and prayerful in anything that you set out to do. Never give up, no matter how many doors is closed in your face. You break it down and you just make it your own house party and keep kicking some freaking, and you know the rest.
Ass. We can say ass on here.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
great. I didn't tell you that. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
God
All
bless you.
right. All right. God bless you. All right, guys, we got to get into this interview with my dear friend, Terrence Santos de la Rosa Sims with Chicago Commons. He is the vice president of senior services, and he's going to talk to us about getting your tech on as a senior. We'll be right back. Just listen to this interview.
Hey, Chicago. Are you looking for a place where your loved one can receive the care and support they deserve? Chicago Commons offers adult day services in the heart of Bronzeville, providing a vibrant and caring community center for seniors and adults with disabilities, and that includes meals, transportation, and engaging activities. We also offer a home care program throughout the Chicagoland area that ensures your loved ones get the support they need right at home. If you're interested in Chicago Commons Senior Services, where compassionate care meets your community, call us today at 773-373-5055.
All right, guys. You know, today on Senior Talk, we get to talk to my dear friend, Vice President of Senior Services at Chicago Commons, Mr. Terrence Santos de la Rosa Sims. You know, this topic is so specific. Well, how are you doing before I even ask you? How did we get here?
I'm doing great. I'm doing the best I can. How are you doing?
I'm doing swell-tastic. I think I'll be doing even better now that you brought technology into the fold.
It's a great topic. I want to dive right into it. It's on cutting edge for all of us in today's time. You can't really live at least in America without it.
In my opinion, technology can either feel like a superpower or a secret language that was written by somebody's kid. Let's get into it. If you are looking at everywhere that we go, everywhere we turn, there has been an app, a device, or even digital tools that are supposed to make life easier. But if you've ever tried to reset a password and ended up questioning your entire existence, you know technology can have a mind of its own, Terrence. Here's my question to you. Technology, because it's so often promoted as a solution for aging, do you see it overall as more helpful or more challenging for seniors?
Well, I think technology is overall more helpful than challenging for seniors when it's designed and introduced thoughtfully. Technology can improve quality of life by helping older adults stay connected, manage health conditions, maintain independence, and access services to their home, from home actually. Video calls reduce isolation. Smart devices can assist with reminders and emergencies. Telehealth is huge, makes healthcare more accessible. At the same time, technology can become frustrating when devices are overly complicated, constantly changing, or not designed for older users in mind. The biggest issue is often not the technology itself, but the lack of clear support, training, and patience during the learning process.
You know, I think for many adults, especially older adults, the dream is to remain in their homes for as long as possible. And you and I have talked about that just a few weeks ago. Technology can serve as a quiet helper in the background, watching over loved ones, because I actually use my smart device at home to peer in with my father. In what ways has technology improved safety, access to care, or even independence for older adults?
You know, it's improved safety in various ways and independence. So from a safety standpoint, medical alert systems, fall detectors, GPS tracking for people with memory loss, and smart home device pendingly and aging in place. Access to healthcare. Telehealth appointments allow seniors to speak with doctors from home, especially helpful for those with mobility or transportation challenges. Online prescription refills and patient portals also make healthcare management easier. From an independent standpoint, voice assistants, medication reminders, grocery delivery app, rideshare services, online banking help older adults manage daily tasks without really relying heavily on family members and caregivers. And then I think it's just the social connection part. Video calls, FaceTiming if you have an iPhone, messaging apps, social media can reduce loneliness and help seniors to stay in touch with loved ones and friends.
Sometimes it's not that seniors can't learn technology, but the buttons are everywhere and there's so many of them and the instructions are confusing and it can be overwhelming. One wrong click and your whole screen looks different. What are the most common frustrations or barriers seniors face when it comes to using technology?
Kind of speaking to what you just mentioned, I think complexity. Some devices and apps they have confusing menus or templates on it, small text, a lot of features. In some respects, it may seem like too many features. Fear of making mistakes. Many seniors worry that they will break something or accidentally lose important information if not really aware of how things work. I think frequent updates and changes, interface change often forcing users to relearn tasks and repeatedly. Physical limitations, vision, hearing, memory, challenges can actually make technology seem a little bit harder. And I think the lack of confidence or training, some older adults did not grow up using digital technology and may feel intimidated or embarrassed by asking for help. And then, of course, we have security concerns. A lot of seniors, and not just seniors, but people kind of in general with scam calls, phishing emails, fake websites create fear and mistrust around online activity and online users.
You got to have patience to actually help someone who is not familiar with technology. And when family members try to help, they often move too fast. Before the senior even knows what happened, you're already showing them that, okay, this is how you change the password. And wait, you got to go back here. And it's too much going on. So how should families approach helping seniors learn technology and protecting them from scams at the same time?
Well, families should approach technology support with patience, simplicity, and ongoing protection from scams. When teaching technology, introduce one tool or a skill at a time instead of overwhelming seniors with too many apps or devices all at once. Use clear written instructions, sometimes with large print and maybe step-by-step guidance I think is very helpful. Encourage hands-on practice and repetition. Avoid taking over the device. Allow that senior to practice independently without you kind of hovering over them while still offering support if they need it. Focusing on tools that provide meaningful benefits such as video calling, family members accessing healthcare. And then I think what's really, really important to keep in mind, again, and this is really going viral as far as, protecting seniors from scams. Teach them never to share passwords, banking information, or social security numbers through phones, texts, or emails. Explain common scams, including fake tech support, urgent payment requests that they may get via text or on the phone or voicemails left. Set up strong passwords, authentications, two-factor authentication, spam filters, malware software that updates constantly. I would think, encourage seniors to check with trusted family members. They kind of know technology, that's pretty savvy. Before responding to suspicious emails and financial requests, ask a family member, hey, what do you think about this? And then maintain communication so that they feel comfortable reporting mistakes or concerns without feeling embarrassed, like, oh, well, I don't know, so I'm just going to kind of keep it to myself.
You know what? That was all too much just in you explaining what we need to look out for. But, unfortunately, scammers are becoming more sophisticated. And the older adults are often targeted through phone calls, emails, text messages. And these things are designed to create fear and urgency. And I don't know how many times I've seen this happen saying they just knew that it was authentic. They just knew that it was a family member. What are the most important rules seniors should follow to protect themselves from fraud and identity theft? I know you talked about it, touched about it earlier, but I definitely want to be more specific because I'm thinking of a situation that happened to my dear grandmother a few years back.
So you really have to be mindful. So let's use the phone, for example. What's really running rampant these days is that scammers, hackers, they disguise certain phone numbers and it comes up on your phone. Let's say you have Chase Bank. It will literally be the name will come up on your call ID as Chase Bank, and it will be the actual number to Chase Bank, but specifically it's a spoof number. So basically a spoof number is a fake number that appears to be the correct number, a number that comes from somewhere that may be familiar, and you think that is actually coming from Chase Bank. They have the language, they have the script and the things that they need to say, and they will walk you through an entire process asking for certain information. Banks, for example, will never ask you for your social security number over the phone. They will never ask you direct questions like, where do you live? Can you verify certain mate and last name, or a trick question or a private question or a secret question? Where'd you go to high school? Or where did you grow up? What's your mother's maiden name? Those type of things. But when you think that it's authentic and it's coming from a known familiar location, or in this case, we're talking about like a bank using Chase, for example, not to pick on Chase, but it has happened repeatedly, and you think it is authentic, and then you give them the information, and then they tell you what you need, and then they end the call. They're very polite, and they walk you through. They seem very patient, and before you know it, money's drawn out of your account, and you don't know where it went. And now you have to deal with all the complications of contacting your bank, reporting fraud, and then it can be a process. And in most cases, you can get your money back, but a lot of times it takes a while. And who wants money taken out of their account that they earn that's theirs, that they have to wait to get back because somebody, scammed them out of, some money. So
yeah, this is so sad. So sad that people spend such great talent doing such horrible things. Technology should just be a bridge, not a barrier. I'm just thinking, like, if seniors have the right support, patience, and education, even for us, seniors can actually use these tools to stay connected and stay safe. We always want them to have advancements. Terrence, thank you so much once again for helping us make sense of a world that seems to update itself every, 5 minutes or so. How can people find out more about Chicago Commons?
Absolutely. They can reach us at 773-373-5055, or you can reach us on the web at www.chicagocommons.org.
That's right. Terrence Santos de la Rosa Sims, who is the Vice President of Senior Services at Chicago Commons. Make sure you guys tap in with Chicago Commons. Thanks, Terrence.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
And you heard it right here. WVON 1690. We spoke to our dear friend, Terrence de la Rosa Sims from Chicago Commons, as he gives us navigational tips on moving through the technological world when it comes to seniors. I, too, have worked with this situation twice, once with my grandmother and most recently with my mother. My mother's phone number was spoofed, as he mentioned. And what that meant was my mother's phone number showed up in thousands of households on their caller ID as a missed call or a received call. And they called my mother back to see what she called about. And it became very nerve-wracking for my mother. And I had to call actually Channel 5 News to get on this. I wrote a letter to the FCC. There was an issue with that spoofing where it looks like it comes from a person, but it really doesn't. It's something that is put into the atmosphere of hackers, and they're able to push out thousands of phone calls at once all over the country. And it looks like it came from you or your mother, in my case. I want to thank you guys. You're listening to Senior Talks, which is here every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. That segment, the tech segment, is sponsored by Chicago Commons. And our dear friend, earlier, we were talking to Bowlegged Lou of Full Force. Someone put on the chat on Facebook Live, and please share the show. Did you miss it? No. The good thing about the fact that you may not have heard it live is that you can go back to Facebook once we're done and you can listen to it as many times as you want to and share it with quite a few people. Um, I love I love this show. You guys hear me Monday through Thursday on the afternoon show with Atiba, but this one is very specific and dear to me because I've always had a love for seniors. I don't I don't hide that. So, for if you are someone who is a senior, because remember, I'm a pre-senior. If you're someone that is a senior, I want to know what you're doing to kill it. Like, what are you doing to get out there and still keep things moving? I learned today or yesterday, my boyfriend told me, he said, exercise is like science. You build cells, and if you don't, you they won't be here. And I was like, wait a minute, that means I got to get moving. So when I stand or sit, should I say, stagnant, I'm not getting my body to produce the energy that I need to keep moving. So what are you guys using as resources? Is it yoga? Is it aerial yoga? I want to get into some aerial yoga. I'm afraid that I might fall, but I'm still gonna try and do it. But here's some tips. Community and rec centers that are available for seniors to get involved in things like Chicago fitness programs. The Obama Center is opening up with some programs as well, so make sure you stay abreast to their website. And they open June 19th. Volunteer opportunities. Just the other day, I spoke to Stacy Davis Gates, who is with CTU and Chicago Teachers Union. And I mentioned how important it is to recruit our parents to volunteer in the schools, but not just parents, grandparents, community members. Volunteer opportunities keep you going. And it's fun because you get to choose where you want to give your time to. So I would love to see you guys join the volunteer opportunities. Social clubs are important, and indoor and at home activities like hobbies. Knitting is so cliche. But don't scroll too much because I went to fix my father's phone yesterday. Turns out he had downloaded a bunch of viruses and he couldn't even get to what he was trying to do. So just be careful with that. But I was able to get him back on track. But that's the games are good, but you too need to limit your screen time. It's not just the young people. It's our seasoned individuals as well. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I want to say thank you for listening. It's been such a pleasure to talk to all of you. And we will be back on Saturday next week with Senior Talks. Today's guest was amazing. Our segment was amazing. And of course, our callers, amazing. And all of you that are in the comments on Facebook Live. Up next is the Activist Hour. And then after that, I'll be back with the Wake Up Show Chicago with the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. That's it. Email me, LaDonna at WVON.com. Bye-bye for now.
Had a few things work out a different way. But you live long enough and you'll see it's true. The things worth keeping